So today I made some homemade pretzel buns for James, so I hope he enjoys those. And I made a couple edible tagines. I'll show you. Mine is a lentil chili with cilantro on top. And James's is a Moroccan chickpea soup with parsley on top. And if you don't wrap it in foil, then it goes dark. So if you want to keep them looking beautiful like this, you have to wrap them in foil.
Well, it kind of looks Halloweenish there with the black.
All right.
Yeah. See?
I guess you could do that.
Yeah, always look on the bright side of things, you know?
But
to steal a line from Monty Python's Blind Series.
yeah, it's funny. You know, this is an idea, another idea which is totally easy, totally obvious, and as far as I have been able to find, totally original to me.
There we go, see?
And if you try to pick it up by its handle like that, that's not a handle. Well, it will just come off.
It's just be compost in the garden.
So then it won't be pretty. But also the handle, you have to make sure to wrap that in foil, or it'll go black.
Black. There you go.
But yeah,
it might look good in Halloweenish.
Like
I was just wanting to show how it was steaming.
Yes.
You know, even though it's outside and stuff like this keeps it warmer. It's always a problem when it gets this cool. Although, the line I was kind of trying to steal, I didn't do a very good job. It was always look on the sunny side of life.
Yeah.
And remember, I was saying, I think the sun's going to come out, and it kind of has. Kind of weakly, but you see how it's shining.
So if you have never cooked with a tagine is basically, it's a stew that you cook in this ceramic sort of pot in the oven. Rather than on the stove. And you could cook stew in your squash while you're cooking it in the oven, just like a tagine. So basically, if you use a Hubbard squash like this, it's sort of shaped like a tagine. And you can put chopped up whatever vegetables in there. Now if you put beans in there, they're not going to cook all the way through while the squash cooks. So you can test first to see how long cooking time you have just by cooking a squash, which is a great thing to do. So just cook the squash and with your timer, you know, or look at the time before you start and figure it out. And then you can do that. Then you know how much playing time you have with the squash, right? And you know with how much time it takes to cook whatever in a casserole or something, and it's going to be the same sort of thing. So if you want things like chickpeas, sprouted cooked chickpeas like James has, or lentils, then it's best to cook them ahead of time and put them in, or put canned in, or you can try things like, say, the split orange lentils cook really fast, and just put them right at the bottom before you put anything else on top of the stuff in the squash. Then put that at the bottom, and then that'll work. Or if you want to put like I've just put instant kind of rice in there. I don't know if the regular rice cooks in time, like the brown rice. But you could do that, and that works. But you don't have to. You can put the stuff in, like the vegetables will cook and whatever, and you can just put canned beans or whatever. And I saved you a little bit of bean salad because I love bean salad, and I was eating it all.
So there's some beans inside here, like
chickpeas,
in this... kind of like stew or soup or something like that, and then bean salad, and that's pretty darn healthy. A lot of protein in there, right?
And that's healthy too.
Healthy protein. Now you made this from scratch, I figure. Right?
Yeah.
There we go. See, so you're making hot dog buns, and these are kind of like hot cross buns.
Pretzel buns.
Pretzel buns. There we go. I didn't see the cross, and there's no cross. They're kind of like a figure eight or something.
Yeah, and all you do to make pretzels, well, you can roll it out, but you could do that. But once you have it to a sort of like a little bit of a rope, like not even, you just pinch it off and go like that, and then you can start and you just go, and you can just, you know, gently twirl it around like that, and it gets longer and longer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's fun.
You know, pretzel is a misspelling and mispronunciation of the original.
What?
I think the original is German. It's spelled with a B at the beginning. Bretzel. No, Bretzel. I don't think I'm mistaken. Okay. It's early in the morning.
Did you notice the footprints going up my walk today?
Ooh, that's scary.
Yeah.
No.
They came from that way, And they, of course, left my mailbox open after they stole my mail.
Thank you, hosers.
Which, I don't know why they just think it's a thrill, I guess, to just leave things open. But they came all the way up. So they came up, and it didn't snow very much, so their footprints were barely even, like I could go out there and maybe follow them back to their home.
Yeah,
just by
back to their crib.
Because they were not smart enough. And there wasn't enough snow to hide their footprints, so it's right there. So they came right up and they left a bunch of napkins on my, like right in front of my door. So I think they tried my door, but I don't know.
You figure they were trying to hide their fingerprints or something like that?
I don't know.
Stupid bozos. Yeah, they don't understand. This is not the time to do crimes. Like, I can recall one time, it's like a scene out of the Hardy Boy books. I'd finished my shift over the coffee
I thought about measuring their footprints out there and, just doing a silly little CSI thing. But I just don't care that much. I never have anything mailed to me that is worth stealing. So I don't know why they keep bothering.
I think they're just staying in practice. What a bunch of hosers. You hosers and posers.
Yeah. Anyway, not everyone's, not you, not my viewer. You can't possibly be a...
No, there'll be some out there that might actually be people of, if not wealth, at least of taste. But the average viewer, you are welcome, and I'm not calling you down.
Yeah. But it's fun to make buns into fun shapes like pretzels like this, because you could have a burger on that and it would just be way more fun because it's so pretty. So, yeah. And you can put all sorts of things into, if you make your own bread. And rye flour goes really well with caraway seeds, which James doesn't care for, but we'll see if he does. You don't eat caraway that often. It's got to be good for you.
Yeah, maybe it'll upset my
I didn't put much in there, just see if you like it. Okay, well, Jane's going to be talking about some books. I'll just see how much time you have on the camera here. Oh, you have so much time. I didn't blab.
Anyway,
go ahead.
A preview and a review. So, here is, you notice lately I've been I'm a little worried that maybe people out there think it's all fun and games. Now, doing research on nutrition and trying to make nutrition tasty and not just healthy is not fun and games. But I think maybe some people might think that. And we watch a lot of movies. Well, for me, it's like in the background, and a lot of time for you, it's in the background too. So,
while I'm cooking this today, I was watching stuff.
Yeah, exactly right. So, doing that's an art, to be able to juggle things. I can't. I've got when I cook, or try to, I burn. I don't cook. I got even if I watch it all the time, it still burns or whatever. So it's a real art, and to a certain extent a science, I'd say too. At any rate, I'm now just doing the stuff that I do regularly, and so it's not all fun and games. Fact is, it generally isn't for me. Well, it is fun and games for me, but for most people it wouldn't be fun and games. And the reason why it's fun and games for me is because I've just applied myself. So this is Marcel Proust. He's a French writer. Most of you, I'm sure, know that, but this is just for the few people that I know. And this is part of À la recherche du temps perdu, which, excuse my pronunciation if you actually know French, but it means in the search of lost time. But the way it's usually rendered into English is remembrance of things past. And no, this is not in English, okay? I like reading the original stuff. So this is just a portion of it, and so it's been a while actually since I finished this up. But this is a review and a preview because I finished it up. But if I have a chance to, I'm going to read it again because it's worthwhile reading. So it might have been written roughly 100 years ago. And the deal is, this is a challenge to modern day writers. He's, I'm sure, considered a modern writer. I should have said postmodern day writers. you know, and these guys were supposed to be considered, they're supposed to be experimental, and nowadays I don't know what they consider they're doing. Failed experimental? Yeah, that might be it. Anyway, try and write stuff like Proust. What do I mean? Write stuff that I want to reread. Okay? Write stuff that I want to reread, like this. So there are some long sentences in here. Don't be scared of long sentences. You know, if a reader who's scared of a long sentence isn't really a reader worth having. You know, like there are some times where you want to write stuff like Hemingway, but don't write like that all the time. Because when you write like that all the time, I start to think, that's all they can write. They can only write like Hemingway. And Hemingway wrote like a journalist. And I've been a journalist. I know how journalists are. They were always telling me, chop your sentences up. You know, I can remember I wrote a whole review once. It was a whole sentence. And they were just going crazy, the editors. And I go, yeah, you know, come on. You know, this is a student newspaper. You know, like average newspaper, I think, is written for a grade 6er or a grade 8er. Maybe it used to be a grade 8er. And
yeah, you were just having fun.
What was that? I was just having fun. Come on. You know. What the hey? But needless to say, I prevailed. You know, it wasn't. I just prevailed by kind of laughing about it. Come on, you know, it's a review after all. It's not a news story. It's a review of Paul McCartney's "At the Speed of Sound." Anyway, here's the real preview, which is an introduction to vector calculation for natural scientists, chemists, and engineers, and it's the second reworked edition, and it was put out by the Dr. Dietrich Steinkopf. I love that name, Stonehead, you know. It's not Schweinkopf, pighead, but Steinkopf Verlag, which is a publishing company in Darmstadt. And this is the, like I was saying, the second edition. Second edition dates from 69 and the first edition from 58. And I should have actually done it in German. Excuse me if you know German. I'm going to give a bad mispronunciation, not even a pronunciation. Einführung in der Vektorrechnung für Naturwissenschaftler, Chemiker und Ingenieure. Zweite neu erarbeitete Auflage. So this is, it is, what is it? Approximately a little over 200 pages of sheer fun. So this is some mathematics for basically physics students and engineers, also chemists as well. You can use vectors for chemistry as well, probably for crystallography more than anything else, but be for other things as well. So this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it and stuff like that. It's going to be a bit of a challenge, but you know, I'm getting pretty close to finishing up Schopenhauer. I was giving a preview the other day. Was that yesterday? The day before? Getting very close to finishing that up, and I'm feeling a little bit, I hope it's not pretentious, but arrogant about my German now, because I can read it pretty well. I can't speak it worth a darn, but that's the way it goes, you know. Can't do everything, and just get ready. Hold on to your socks and stuff like that, because eventually I'm going to be doing more philosophy and stuff like that. So prolegomena to any future metaphysics by Kant. You're going to have fun with that, just as I am having fun with it right now. And Les Pensées by Blaise Pascal. I think Blaise was his first name. And there will be a little bit of Spinoza. So all of those are in the original. So Spinoza in Latin. I was reading a little bit of that before I came down today, and that was fun. But maybe I'm being slightly ironic. Not very creatively ironic, but yeah. At any rate, so, you know, like, fasten your seatbelts. Put on your, you know, people really should wear, like Formula One races, they really should wear helmets, I think, when they're driving. Fasten your seatbelts, do up your chin straps for your helmets, because now we're going to be dealing with the real thing. from now on in.
Mhm.
Is that okay with you? Because it's your show.
You can review whatever you want.
There you go.
I
You
don't
see,
care.
so get ready.
I'm reviewing food.
Food. There you. Well, you review a lot of things.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
if you cook your Hubbard Tagine with foil on it, you have to be diligent about keeping track of what stage of cooking that it is in. Mine, I cooked perfectly, and I'm very thrilled about it because I was able to eat it, the squash inside, and it still held up enough that I was able to put the lid back on. So if I hadn't been able to eat all of my dinner and I had to save a little bit for later, it would still be in this perfect little package. But if you're not careful about it, then it's gonna collapse if it just cooks a little bit too long.
I can see that because it's even a little bit hard to lift it up. It's just you caught it right on the edge, right? I don't have to be that careful. It's just you can tell it's kind of on the edge, you know. It's like living on the edge. It's just like Aerosmith about 30 years ago.
But if you're concerned about not knowing if you're going to cook it perfectly and you have guests coming over or whatever, you might want to try cooking it without the foil on first. I know it's not going to look as pretty. It's still going to be this lovely shape, but then it's not going to collapse because it'll be hard as a rock on the outside where it's cooked. So either way, you could do it either way. I mean, this is beautiful. Beautiful. But yeah, that's all I really had to say. Oh, about the pretzels too. Now,
were you saying the caraway was in that or this?
That.
Oh, that. There we go.
Turmeric.
Yeah, I know. I was going, how could the caraway...
Cilantro stems. So you have the parsley in there, and I did the cilantro stems juice in there, so you have both. And red, whatever, cabbage.
Yeah. So you wanted me to try one of those caraway pretzels?
I don't care.
Pretzels.
You can eat it whenever you want.
Well, I'll give a taste to one of them.
Yeah, I left them out in the porch after I made them this morning because I didn't know when you'd come over.
Is that
a little bit on the frozen side. So then I tried to warm them up in the inside before I.
Funny.
Okay. Because I was like, oh no, they're gonna be hard as a rock.
Tasty. I want to save this for a sandwich later on. This will make a great sandwich. But I don't know if you noticed how pleased I was with that tuna sandwich you made with your homemade bread. I've never tasted tuna where I couldn't taste it in a sandwich. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
so I don't like tuna. Salmon is a whole lot sweeter than tuna. Yeah. So I only eat this kind of fish because apparently fish is, at least of certain types, more like deep sea fish and stuff like that, as opposed to freshwater fish, are supposed to be good for cancer. You know, like preventing it and maybe preventing its re-onset. So. Or slowing down its re-onset.
I mean, bread isn't the healthiest thing in the world, but at least I've gotten some, I had some organic rye flour given to me and some other things. So I'm able to make bread with healthier flours. And,
there's this one doctor who survived, according to his own account. It's just one guy, so he might just be an outlier for 15 years with a brain tumor. Or he kept brain tumors at bay. He eventually, a big brain tumor took him away. But 15 years is awesome, especially for a brain tumor. And he was saying eat fish, and he was saying eat bread. Just make sure it's real bread. He didn't say it, but you know, like healthy bread. He said kind of like whole wheat bread. You know.
Yeah.
So,
well, honestly,
like real whole wheat bread.
When you start making your own bread. And pretzels and fun stuff like this. Like with the pretzels, you have to have some sort of gluten flour if you're going to be winging it around to stretch it out into ropes.
That sounds like fun.
It is fun.
I'm sure the dogs thought it was fun too, right? No, Elvis was sleeping.
Didn't break or anything. It just they didn't notice what I was doing. I don't think.
No, Elvis would have if he'd been out there. He would have wanted to play.
They sleep in the morning. You know, like they get up when I get up. They go outside. They come back in. They go to sleep. And so I'm cooking or doing whatever, and they're sleeping. But anyway.
That's because in the middle of the night they're up, down, and round. You know, like.
They're pretty good.
They're up and like you sleep through it, but you must.
Well, Elvis was on top of the the living room table, the coffee table last night. He knocked a bunch of stuff down.
What a guy. Anyway, yeah, he's.
He thinks I don't know or something. It's
Yeah,
like I
well, of
come
course
in
it-
and
yeah.
there's a big mess everywhere.
Yeah, they
It's-
think that you don't notice the pee until you notice, and then they get scared. You know.
Yeah.
But
But anyway, he's like having a little kid that climbs up on. I mean, I guess kids. Anyway.
yeah, he's always going to be. Hey,
He's
how old
always
is he
gonna be
now?
a
2.5
little kid.
years old? Or
Yeah, he
something like that?
just
But
acts like a little kid.
Yeah, he's like a human 2.5-year-old.
Yeah, it's pretty cute.
I've got him trained so
Wow.
for treats now he'll run for entertainment. Like he'll run. Then on the sofa he'll do a matrix thing, so he'll go on the back of the sofa on the side of it and jumps down. He'll jump over other dogs and stuff like that. Sometimes he puts on a real good shows. Stuff like that. I'm trying to get him to beg because he kind of begs like this, like he's. A lot of dogs will beg like this, but he begs.
So did you like the flavor
praise.
of this bun less than the ones yesterday and the day before? The bread that I did, or about the
I'd say
same?
about the same. They taste
Really?
different, but
Different but good.
Mm.
But yeah, when you start making your own bread and stuff, you can
can
try
vary
putting
this.
all sorts of things in there.
Yeah, sure.
That
Well, you were putting nuts in some of the bread.
well, yeah.
There we go.
But,
See, some of that
you can
stuff
put
is
nuts
awesome.
and seeds and whatever, but because I had it around, so I thought, may as well. So anyway, but you can put all sorts of, like, anything that looks like a flower almost. You could stick it in there. So if you have some sort of powdered thing, like
You
some
could
sort
have
of
powdered beans, right, or powdered lentils.
oh yes, you can put that in, or you could put in say like you might want to toast it first, give it a little bit of flavor. Like say chana flour or something.
Which
But
would be
anyway.
equivalent of roasting, kind of like, right? Yeah.
But I don't know. It tastes a little bit better if you put it toasted.
Sure.
Anyway, and then you can put other things too. Like one bread, I stuck some soup mix. There was soup mix that had been given to us. Roasted red pepper soup, and I didn't think it was very good. And it had some sugar in as one of the top ingredients. And I was like, well, I need some sort of sweet to
It's a bad sign when they're putting
feed
sugar
the
in
yeast.
the soup.
Yeah. And so when I didn't want to use it as a soup because I didn't want to eat the sugar or feed it to him really, and it didn't taste good anyway. And so, but then I thought, well, it can feed the yeast, and so the yeast will eat the sugar, rise the bread, and
Awesome.
then
Yeah.
and then we get the
Got some use out
flavor
of it.
from the
Yeah.
worked out just fine.
So it sounds kind of weird, but I can't remember being weirded out by any
No.
bread that you gave me, so it obviously worked.
Yeah. So, I mean, once you try these things, try all sorts of different, you can put all sorts of different kinds of things in bread. Then you start going, well, what else would, like, if I didn't care about our health, what would I be sticking in bread? You know, if I were working at a bread factory or at a whatever. And it sort of gets you thinking, gee, do I
What are
really
they
want to
doing?
be eating bread that other people make, honestly?
Yep.
And do I really want to be eating any ingredients that I don't see are whole and recognizable as such, right?
Oh, they'd be chucking almost
If it's
anything.
Powder, are you sure you know what you're eating, right?
They'd be
It's
getting
just
pulp
powder.
out of juices, wouldn't they? That they
Well, whatever.
could be putting
you
in
put
bread.
it, yeah, we have gotten some bread where they've used carrot pulp in it.
There you go.
Yeah, but
They'll
mean,
do anything. I mean, that's not necessarily a bad
that's
thing.
not
I mean,
necessarily that bad when
Sure.
you think about other things that could be in the flour. You don't know,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, what was it? A couple of years back, there was a recall on a certain very famous brand of flour that because it had nickel in it.
Oh,
it was enriched flour.
Oh, that's it.
with
Nickel's
nickel
a
in
killer. Jeez.
You know,
It's bad for
so
you.
honestly,
Yeah. How does
gets
that
you
happen?
thinking. How does that happen? I don't know.